tactily. They don't take the world in through their ears. And that has an influence on their value system, their behaviors, a whole variety of things. Eye gaze is important and can often be a source of conflicts. I'll give you an example. Suppose you have a deaf woman who's speaking to a hearing man. Now she's maintaining a constant eye gaze, and the hearing guy can misunderstand this as a sign of interest in him, because that kind of eye gaze would be inappropriate in the hearing culture. Tactile is another issue. Sometimes when I want to get someone's attention, I'll tap them on the shoulder, and it'll cause them to start because they don't expect it. The way light is set up is also different. Hearing people in a restaurant say, like mood lighting, candle light, that kind of thing, whereas deaf people need a lot more light so that they can see each other talk.
I don't think there's very much difference. In my hometown, we lived side by side, we worked side by side, and we got along fine. I don't see any difference. I think deaf and hearing people are pretty much the same.
Okay, the differences that I see, well, communication, of course. You depend on your ears to work. Now, my family is all hearing, and I felt that I was just like they were. Growing up in that environment, communicating with them, I felt that I was the same as them. I was hearing, in a sense. It wasn't until that I became involved in the deaf community that I began to see the differences. I still felt hearing. And it took time for me to change my identity, to develop an identity as a deaf person, and begin to understand the issues from the deaf side. It wasn't that my ears didn't work. I had to change my perspective to someone who took the world in through my eyes, who used sign language in a different way than my family did. And it was only then that I began to see the differences. And let me tell you, there are a lot of differences. When I used to date, I used to date hearing women. And there are a lot of differences there. For example, I dated one woman who signed beautifully, but still, she was not deaf. For example, I could see her eyes move just the slightest little bit. I could see when her eyes turned off and her ears turned on, she began taking things in through her ears, and then she'd switch back and take things in through her eyes again. Whereas with a deaf person, their eyes are always on, in a sense. Their ears never work, so that's one difference. It's interesting.
If your doctor were able to give you a pill that if you took it would instantly make you hearing, would you opt to take it? Explain your reasons.
Right now? No. No. I was born deaf. I'm enculturated as a deaf person. ASL is my language, it's part of me. And if you're asking me to give that up, the answer is no. I wouldn't take the pill. I want to be the way I am. I'm happy the way I am. If I became hearing, I think it would throw off my whole life. I'd have to learn how to speak. I'd have to learn how to be part of the hearing culture. And I wouldn't be happy. I'm used to the way I am. I've never heard sound. And I'm happy with that.
Explain your